Welcome back to our very own Richer Retailer podcast. And this is part 3. This is the final chapter of our inventory series that we're doing with my incredible co-host, Dana Connell. And I have to say that this is my favorite part. In part 1, we broke down what open to buy really is, right? And then in part 2, we got into the mistakes that people make, the metrics that you have to use, and what a healthy inventory system actually looks like. But this episode, this is where it gets personal. Dana and I we're opening up the floor and answering real questions that store owners just like you are sitting with. The ones that keep you up at night, right? What do you do when your open to buy says one thing, but your emotions are telling you something entirely else, right? What about reorders? What about reorders when there's not enough cash? What do you do then? What's the very first step if you've never used an open to buy before? This is truly the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to talk about today. There's not scripts or fillers, or it's just honest answers from the two of us who have seen it all inside real retail businesses. And then at the end, I'm going to share something that I think could genuinely change the way you think of and run your store. So let's finish this thing, shall we? So Raymond said that you have to import it, right? For sure. Go ahead, Dana.
Oh, I was typing back.
Oh.
When you have to import it, that is a little bit of a different situation for sure. So I would tell you 2 things. I would say, number 1, I don't know if your business is 100% import, but what can you supplement it with so that you've got the import piece over here, and then you've got some parts that are not imported so that you can have a little bit of a better flow. The other thing you can do, and I don't love this, in addition to sort of pre-selling it, as we were talking about earlier, is to literally keep some stuff like boxed and put it aside and like label your box. This goes out in April, this goes out in May. And that when you're making your buys, again, to be really intentional about it, we start with this, and then we flow in this, and then we flow in this, so that you've got that consistency of inventory coming in to keep your customer highly engaged in it. It is a little bit harder, but if, importing is a challenge these days, I know, but if there's any way that you can just, bring it in smaller shipments, that would be optimal. So I don't know if, Cathy, I think you were going to work one more.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to do it. I was just answering Jen's question. Jen said that what's the cost of the Profit Club? I don't see it. Correct. We want to make sure that it's a good fit for you. We want to make sure this is the right place to send you. We have a number of options. We have a number of different things. We did this workshop specifically about inventory because we've seen so many questions about it. So that's why we did. So we want to make sure that everything's good for you. So let me really quick go through that example that Heidi gave. So Heidi's sales are $225. So her open to buy for the year should be 400, and I rounded and just did it without all the zeros. And so it says you only need $468 worth of inventory, Heidi. Imagine how profitable you're going to be with only buying $46,800 is what your open to buy is. So that's that information. Your retail inventory is $600,000, is that right? And your cost is $170,000. That is a incredible markup. How is it what is it you sell that you get that much of a markup? I mean, I know what you sell, but how is it? That's a 71% markup, which is practically unheard of, Heidi.
Yeah,
do tell.
That's a little high, I think. I don't think that's quite right.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
think
Because
it's
some people,
more
like
in
if you
the-
produce your own t-shirts, like I know other Christian stores that
No,
okay.
I think that's more in the 55%
okay.
range.
All right.
I'm
okay.
pretty
Well,
sure.
okay, that's fine.
I don't know quite where that is, but yeah,
Which number are you more sure of, the retail or the cost?
the retail.
Okay, so then if you have $600,000 of inventory, then if we're going to multiply that times 3, which is how many times you would turn your inventory in a year, you should be selling 1.8 million a year.
Huh.
Listen, I'm not laughing because I would never laugh at you
I
because
know,
we see this
but-
all the time, Heidi. And the thing that happens is with non-seasonal stores, the problem becomes, is that right? You like end up seeing a vendor. And so you're like, well, I had glasses before. Oh, but I really like these new glasses. So then you bring in new ones without figuring out really how to get rid of the old ones. Or,
Right.
I don't know, one coffee mug is good as another one. And so then you bring in new ones without having gotten rid of the other ones. And so you don't have a system to identify when the inventory is old. What I want you to take away from this, Heidi, is that your instincts are right. You need new inventory. The problem is that you don't have a system for getting rid of the old inventory. And there's a system to it. There's a whole process to it that we have that always works. That's the point of that. I know you've already signed up for us, but let me just tell you so that what I know for sure is, and actually you're going to experience more growth. The other thing I'll tell you is that people will sometimes say, well, I have $600,000 in inventory. You're saying I only need. So then if your inventory, if you do $225,000, what I'll tell you is that if you divide that by 3, then that would mean that you only need to have $75,000 at retail of inventory. Now, if I were you, I'd freak out. Like, what? Like, how will my store look? Like, what? But there's no way that would work. But this is how that works, is that as we work together, your sales increase. So you are carrying more inventory. Do you see what I'm saying? Because this isn't a static number. Do you remember we said about how all of this rotates around the sun, all these things? So the beautiful thing is that, right, that 75,000 right now is crazy. But right, when we get you up to 350 and 400,000, then you have so much more inventory. And what we find is that naturally is what happens as you have a strategy to create a profit center out of each class of inventory you have, right? Do you see what we're saying? It's incredible how powerful it is. There's so many tools that we use to get you to that point. That's really amazing. Alrighty, did I miss anything else? Any other questions, you guys? Oh my golly, I'm so happy you asked this question, Darren. Darren asks, when someone is just starting out in retail, like he and I know Annie is too, I assume it takes a little bit of time to get the new in, a 90 days rhythm, right? And that you get better at that. How long would it take a new retailer to get the new in 90 days flywheel really rolling? I'm like blown away by that question. Thank you so much, Darren. No more than 6 months, no more than 2 90-day periods. It sometimes starts out slow, but the thing I'll tell you is that when you have a strategy for how to handle inventory, you'll for sure make mistakes. In fact, I wrote a follow-up email for this already, talking about how when I was in Vegas for a trade show, I get in the car, the cabbie is driving me to my hotel, and he says, so what are you here for? I said, oh, a trade show. Oh, what do you do? I said, he said, no, and then he asked me so you're here to gamble? I said, no, I don't really gamble. He says, really? He said, well, what business are you in? I said, retail. He says, and you don't think you gamble? Because of course you're gambling. Dana's laughing. I mean, not Dana. Crystal's laughing her head off. She actually lives in Vegas, so she knows how hilarious that story is. You are gambling all the time. So I would expect you, Darren. So the point about this is that we have a system, and so we're all intentional about it. So we expect you to make mistakes at first, Darren. And so we factor that into what your open to buy should be, and what your sales should be, and what your sales are per class. And then you have sales goals per each of those classifications, those profit centers, right? To aim to hit those sales goals. And if you're not hitting those sales goals, well, then if you're over, then that means you're under inventoried. And if you're under, that means you're over inventoried. So then we start taking and analyzing it right away from day one. And being intentional like this, 98% of every store we've helped open has had positive cash flow the first year. The biggest mistake is that people say, oh yeah, it'll take 3 years. Oh, no, And that includes paying the owner and starting to pay down the debt that you took on to start it. So yeah, it's super, super powerful. Crystal, you have been so quiet here today. Is there anything you'd like to share? Oh, I'm sorry, Dana, and I interrupted you.
That's okay. Go ahead, Crystal.
No, I think talking about the inventory and the freshness factor, I think it really is underestimated how you do need to be turning the product, but also have a plan for your markdown cadence. How are you going to be doing this to ensure that you're not sitting on this old product, and just taking the time to plan ahead and have that, idea already planned for your year? It really makes such an impact, because then you can ensure you always have that freshness. You can time your freshness with your buys, and then just make sure that you always have that rotation, because you're going to have that client that comes in regularly that's, cruising through on a Monday morning after getting their coffee, but then you're also going to have the ones that only come in quarterly. So it is really important. And to Dana's point as well earlier, when we're talking about windows and enticing those people to come in, having that rotation in your windows is also so important. And I think about one client all the time when we talk about windows. And people underestimate how important it is to have fresh windows, have fresh visuals in there, because that is your silent seller. Those mannequins, they are selling for you, and you really shouldn't underestimate that. So making sure you have that plan in place is really critical.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I used to re-merchandise my sales floor once a week. I would redo everything, move stuff around. Even if I'd had it for a while, I'd move it around to try to make it look new. But you have to keep the customer engaged. There were two things that I was going to add. And one is that if you haven't sold that product in 60 to 90 days, your customer has already voted with their wallet. That's their vote. Their vote is no, thank you. I'm not interested in this. And they're not going to buy it. And you can try moving it around, if make sure your sales associates know about it, to talk about it. If none of that works, you got to move on. Sometimes you're too early with the product. Maybe you're too late with the product. Maybe it's just the wrong product. But the other thing that I would say that I so often hear from clients is, well, I can't mark it down because my margin is whatever. I've got to maintain that margin, so I cannot mark it down. Well, if you don't mark it down, that's just cash that's sitting there. And it prevents you from taking that cash and going investing in the other thing that is going to sell, that's going to continue to get you more cash. So it's bad bananas, right? It doesn't get any better the longer it sits there. I don't think any of you are in the fine wine business that I'm aware of. If you are, kudos to you. Let it sit. Otherwise, we got to start making banana bread.
Exactly. Well said. And yeah, that's a good question about timing. I imported a lot of goods for my kids' clothing store. I also had goods that I could get a little more early in. So you have to run a balance. You have to be intentional about running all of that. That's what happens. So you can handle the seasonal thing without a problem. We've done it before. And Bloom and Grace says our repeat customers don't come in that often because they live out of town. It might be 3 months between traveling to our town. We have a few great locals that shop, but Wayne is known for locals not shopping local. So then I would challenge you to figure out what can you do to get people into the store. Don't focus on the shopping, but what other activities can you do, you know? And plants are such a mystery. Like the way I am with numbers, you guys know right away what I should be doing with my poor little fern right here. I want to know how to grow my fern better. Do you want to hear the really sad story? This was actually a centerpiece for my daughter's wedding. I'm looking at it. Is this a reflection of their marriage, for goodness sakes? I mean, I'm invested in trying to get this fern to grow better. Any sort of classes you could do about why people should choose the plants they would have. A store like yours should be doing so many classes. People want this information. And remember that they want to belong. They want to be with other people that love plants. You could all be the planties. Live with Cathy on Social for Plant Coaching. Yes, I love that.
Talk to your plant, Cathy. You got to talk to it.
All right, I will.
I really want to answer Darren's question here. Can you explain what asking vendors for markdown dollars means? Oh, I love this question so much, because this means that if that thing didn't sell and it's going to cost you, this gets to the margin point I just made a minute ago, and it's going to cost you, $100 to mark it down to 30% off or 40% off, then you are going to ask that vendor for that money. So that vendor is going to give you the money to pay for that markdown. And you can do that in a number of different ways. It can be on a discount on a future order, which be careful with that, because if the vendor isn't selling for you well, you don't want to get trapped into another order. It can literally be that they write you a check for money back. But I'm going to just tell you, I'm Cathy, I'm doing your moment here. I'm going to look into your eyes, tell you that for every dollar you don't ask for, somebody else is, and they are getting your share of the money. Okay. So probably big stores. It was me. I asked for everything. When I wasn't being the big department store buyer, I was working for a company that had a family owned business that had 10 stores. And I said, well, we're going to ask for markdown money. And the owner said, oh, no, we don't do that. And I was like, oh, yes, you do now, because every penny that you didn't ask for, they're given to my old job. Right. Same goes for ad money. Same goes for Facebook boosts. You can just say, hey, I want to boost your product with your name on it. It's going to cost me $50. See if they'll bite.
And usually they'll have the marketing, the promo, the visuals already done that they can provide for you. And you have to remember, these sales reps, they want to make the sale. They want to do everything they can to keep the sale and to keep this relationship, because it's easier to maintain that relationship with you than to go out and find a new buyer. So if you go in and ask for it, like Dana said, you don't ask for it, someone else is getting it. I mean, the worst case is they say no. So you absolutely should be asking for these types of things from your reps.
Yep. And keep asking. Just because they said
Mhm.
no once, ask them again. Because the
Yep.
more you ask, then they're going to be like, oh, that Darren, he just won't let up. Okay. Okay.
That's Darren, all right. He won't give up. I sense that that's kind of true about you, Darren, actually. Alrighty. Any other questions, anyone? Come on, this is it. We've got this retail genius and Dana and Crystal both here. Actually, Dana, I'd love for you to take a stab at Bloom and Grace's last question. When I told them about doing events to create more traffic and everything, and they were saying how it's not problems with selling the plants that's the issue, it's the gift and accessory, gift and home decor items that are an issue. But I feel like it's got to also be partially your traffic, or you have the
Yeah.
wrong things entirely, but whatever.
I was looking at your other question before that. And are you in a tourist town? Like, are you in a seasonal town?
No, we're not. We're in a town of about 5,000 people. It's a college town. So when the
Mhm.
college is in session, it's maybe about 10,000 with college kids. And they do come in some, and we do get some parents and things. We do some special events and things like that. We are about 50-50. We're 50 fresh floral full service, but our other, like our store itself, is really home decor, gift, things like that. People really do come in to shop us for our gift items. It's just that some days we're just like, because we're such a small town, we get people that will travel, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, or they'll definitely stop. When they stop, they're like, oh, I'm finally getting a chance to come back to Wayne, kind of thing. And then they'll stop and that they say, oh, they love our store. I think part of it that I struggle with is some of the choices that we thought would go in the beginning when I opened, because we opened June of 23. So we're just about at our 3 years. There's like some pillows and throws and things like that, that are kind of hanging on and that we just really haven't been able to get rid of. Some of our newer choices have been good. We're knowing what people are looking at and buying, but it's hard for us to do that inventory turn. Like what we're saying is like, you tell us 3 times and we're like, what the heck? But we also are very seasonal too. Like we do seasonal, like faux flower designs and, things like that. We do, here we have spring and then we move to summer stuff. And then but we also have our everyday staples, like our kitchen stuff, like people come in for like a hostess gift or shower wedding gifts. We have sympathy items, we have baby items, things like that that we constantly have to keep. Those are like the things that you said that you're never run out of,
Right.
So we realize some of those kind of things, but our turnover isn't that fast. So I'm turning a profit. The business is turning a profit, even being that, but my cash flow sucks. So that's where I'm trying to figure out how to get that cash flow going so I can free up things. We try to do a sale on something. Maybe we're not doing our sales right, but like
Correct.
end of seasons or that kind of thing. And it doesn't seem like we did a March Madness sale, where we did a certain percentage off, and it doesn't matter whether it's on sale or not. And then they'll come in the next week and buy it full price.
Yep.
So
Yes.
I don't know. We're just kind of stuck.
I think you've got a lot of things going on here. One is that I think you have to think about your business in terms of the local business, the people that live there, those 5,000, and then the college folks that come in
The
and
out
out.
of towners that we draw.
Right. Right. So I think you have to think about those as two different customer groups for sure. And you need to cater to those groups at the times when they need you for whatever it is that they need you for. The other thing that you need to do is that those bad decisions of the dusties, as we like to call them, you just need to mark them down. But bye-bye. They need to go. We have a whole strategy for our semi-annual clearance sale. And we have a whole thing of talking about pinkies and thumbs. And maybe I'll let Cathy touch on that. But so you have your locals and you have your out of towners and you have your pinkies and you have your thumbs. So you have to really think about those different customer groups at different times of year. But I would absolutely mark down the stuff that is not selling. Cathy was putting in the chat the good, the bad, and the ugly. The stuff that's it's okay, but it probably needs to go. Maybe it's getting out of season. Then you don't mark that down as much, 25 or 30%. But the stuff that's been around for a while and it's just not going anywhere, you got to take a bigger markdown on that. It might have to be 40%.
No, 75%. But it's because there's a whole strategy to it. So the thing is
yeah.
that people say all the time that sales don't work. I get it. And it's exactly what Dana said, that there's a difference between a promo and a strategic
Yes.
sale. Promos are great. Like doing a March Madness thing, that was a cute idea. Like, that's fine. But you're not going to really move out a lot of inventory. You're just going to boost a specific type of inventory or do a little boost for sales, but that's not going to move out your dusties. So one of the very first things we do when you come in through the inventory engine is the 90-day process that we use to literally jumpstart your inventory engine that isn't working well enough. It's like, we use this whole mechanic analogy about how we look at it, we can identify what it is that you need to move out and what it is you don't need to move out. And so Jen, to your point, that's why I was trying to tell you quickly about that, but it's that there's a process for it. And so you have to make sure you're doing it right. It works best. There's 2 times a year that it works best. The way it's merchandised, the way you market it, the way you train your team to talk about it. It is a full thing. It lasts 6 weeks. It works like you cannot believe. And it's like the very first step that you take. We structure this whole inventory engine component to work on it so that these first 3 months of being in your inventory engine, if you do the work and if we get all that information and we can get moving on it all, I mean, you'll pay for the entire year of the Profit Club in the first 3, 4, I don't know, maybe 5 months, but that's literally how powerful these processes are. And then the beauty of it is that once you know the strategy of it, then you know how to do these sales. And we have never had a client not have a sale that works. That's why we call it the sale that works, actually, which is not very exciting name, frankly. I should actually ask Claude for a better name, but it's because it does work. And we have people all the time that say that sales don't work. I didn't think sales worked either until I learned how to do them right. It's so multifaceted. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Did that answer all of your questions, kind of? I mean, I can only set you in the right direction so far.
Yeah, it does
Right?
help. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yeah, don't be afraid to mark it down and keep it marked down. You don't ever mark it back up.
And I'm just going to reinforce doing some events. You have a great opportunity to engage your community and even those college students, believe it or not, in doing events because Gen Z loves like doing things experiential.
We work with a number of people that have different types of customers, exactly like Dana is saying. And yeah, you just need a strategy for it. You just need a plan. And so, listen, we literally were here just to give you an idea of what else is possible. And so we'd love to talk to you about it if you'd like more information. Also know that we have our podcast, our Richer Retailer podcast, gives you a lot of information also, so you can get a lot of support there too. And if you're interested in getting one-on-one support, for sure, Crystal was kind enough to put her email and address in there, or you can fill out the form. I'd love for you to take a look at the form so you can sort of see what it looks like. Yeah, let's just see what can happen because we'd be honored to serve you all. If you guys wouldn't mind just sharing what it was that your biggest takeaway was from this, because what I know is that you're going to share something that maybe somebody else didn't hear, even though we all heard the same thing, right? Everyone takes away a little something different. So I'd love to know what you took away. What was your biggest aha? Again, something that we do not to pat our own back, but there's actually a science about how when you reiterate what you've learned after something like this, then it sticks in your head. And as much as Dana and I love to hear ourselves talk, we are not in this just for entertainment. We really want to help create change. That's what we want to do. So you want to change the way you look at your inventory. Oh, Jen says biggest takeaway is the calculation of inventory to sales. Yeah, the stock to sales ratio. It's incredible. After 60 days, it's old. That's right, Ray. And it's hard to imagine, right? Because kids are always going to grow. All that's going to happen. But I fought this for so long. I was almost bankrupt twice. And and it wasn't until I fully embraced this and just started marking the stuff down if it didn't sell after 60 days. Just kept turning it. So all right. Well, thank you so very much, you guys. I greatly appreciate all your time and energy. It was an honor to help serve you. Gretchen says we've had so much vendor change in last years. We've had to take it to the studs and reinvent the process. This made me feel like we aren't just starting from scratch or losing your minds. Well, I mean, Gretchen, I can't guarantee that you're not losing your mind. There would be another professional you might need for that. But thank you. I appreciate it so very much. All right, you guys, listen, have a fabulous day. And yeah, keep watching. We're going to do more of these. We're here to support you, help you all become richer in every way. There's the wrap on part 3, right? Okay, now stick around for a second because I have one more powerful analogy for you. Your store is like a car. It is. And the single component in your store that determines how fast it goes is your inventory. It's your single biggest expense. It drives every customer purchase. Really, it does. It is the engine of your store. That's why we call it the inventory engine. And here's what that means, that it's a simple, reliable system of our richer retailer method that tells you exactly what to buy, how much to spend, and when to buy it, when to mark it down, how to move out lazy inventory so you can grow your sales 2 to 3 times and build your wealth without second guessing every order, suffering with bare shelves, or drowning in dusty old stock, or relying entirely on your emotions, letting your emotions drive your purchases. You see, all of this, growing your sales by 2 to 3 times, building your wealth, that is what a well-tuned inventory engine does for you. When my son Christopher was little, he loved cars. Any other boy moms out there? Oh my goodness, especially go fast cars, he called them. He loved his sports cars, his go fast cars. Buses and sedans, anything else, were all go slow cars. And he would pick up those cars and say, I don't like go slow cars. And he would launch them across the room. And we all know that a well-performing engine is what makes a go-fast car, right? And the same is true for your store. Have you ever looked at it that way? You see, a well-performing inventory engine is what makes a go-fast store. A go-fast store is driven by a richer retailer who's cruising towards $1 million in sales, paying herself over $11,000 every month and working 1 to 2 days on the floor. But if you're tired of where you are, and if you know that your car would operate better with a better tuned engine, then tuning up your inventory engine could be the thing to take care of right now. You can get rid of those inventory problems. This is what I want you to walk away with from this entire series. Inventory is not a guessing game. It's not a gamble. You heard my story in the last one about how the taxi driver said to me, oh, so you like to gamble? And I said, no. And well, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a retailer. So you buy all the time? You're a gambler. No, that's not how I felt. That wasn't how I approached it. There is a system. And when you have that right system, your inventory stops being the thing that stresses you out and starts becoming your single greatest wealth building tool. It's true. Dana and I did not build this 3-part series just to teach you the concepts. We built it to show you what's possible and that there is a next level in your business that just maybe you couldn't see before. Maybe you had accepted where you were and you didn't know what else was possible. And so if we've done that, if something has clicked over these last 3 episodes, then you already know what the next step is, don't you? You don't have to figure this one out alone. It's exactly what the Profit Club is for. So if you're ready to turn your store into a richer retailer store, the link is in the show notes. Don't hesitate to reach out. We're going to answer any questions you have, but take action now because we have sold out every single month this year. It's been so exciting. And we want to help and serve you. If this is the right thing for you, we'll tell you. And if it's not, we'll tell you that too. The biggest question here is if your inventory engine is well tuned. Are you a sports car? Are you ready to stop guessing and to start cruising? Then the details are all there. Let's help you become a richer retailer. That's what our mission is. It's an honor to serve you. It truly is. Now listen, I want you to go make your inventory. Work as hard as you do. All right? All right, let's go.